Hi everyone, and welcome back to Cassie's Confections. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Today I'm going to show you how to make this super realistic all sugar pizza cake. This is my 13-inch round cake layer, currently upside down. I'm placing the cake board on the bottom of it and flipping it right side up. Next I'm going to trim off the top, leaving about 1.5 inches of cake. I always like to save the extra cake for cake pops. I trimmed off a little bit of the sides of my cake to allow a little extra space for buttercream. Next, I applied a thin layer of buttercream all over the cake. A little bit more than a crumb coat, but a little bit less than a regular coat. I put my cake in the fridge to chill, and then I pulled out some black licorice. I started slicing it into thin slices and then used a round frosting tip to punch holes in the middle to make it look like sliced olives. The licorice can be a little bit sticky, so I used my ball tool to smooth out the insides of the olives where needed. I cut my olive slices a little bit thick, so I just used a small rolling pin to smooth them a little bit flatter. I made some dark red gum paste using a little bit of red and a little bit of black, and then rolled it thin and punched out about 1.5 inch round circles for the pepperoni. Next, I torched my pepperoni with a blowtorch to make it look a little more realistic. I also placed them against the sides of the pan to give them a little bit of movement and a little bit of curl to look more like real pepperoni. After you torch them, they'll want to stick to the bottom of the pan, so just gently scrape them up using a sharp knife or a razor blade. The next step was to grate some white modeling chocolate to look like cheese. My modeling chocolate wanted to stick together in clumps, so I found it best to grate some and then put it in the fridge for a few minutes and then pull it out and break it up afterwards. For the pizza crust, I colored some white fondant with ivory and then rolled it into a long tube long enough to wrap around the outside of the cake and then smushed it with my hands. Wet the outside of the cake with water and a paintbrush. Wrap the fondant all around the outside of the cake and then smush it into place with your fingers to make it look like a pizza crust. If you feel like your pizza crust is a little too thin, you can roll out some more and attach it over the top and smush it into place, and it will hide the seams nicely. I used my sugar shapers to sort of push that fondant underneath the cake to give the bottom of it that pizza dough look. I decided to lightly dust the pizza crust with a little bit of black petal dust just to kind of give it that charred look. Next, you'll want to put a pizza pan in place and then go to town with your blowtorch. The reason for the pizza pan is so it doesn't completely melt the buttercream in the middle. Try to torch the whole pizza crust just a little bit, but concentrate on some spots a little more than others just to give it that natural look. My foam core was still kind of peeking out the bottom and it definitely charred it in some places, but I really liked the way it looked. It almost looked sort of like a Papa Murphy's pizza. Just be careful you don't set it on fire. Just be really conscious while you're torching. Still notice some parts of your buttercream wanted to melt, so just take a damp paintbrush and smooth them. For the pizza sauce, I combined seedless raspberry filling and red buttercream, and then I ended up adding just a little bit more red food coloring to my mixture. Next comes the most fun part, creating your pizza. I would decorate it just like you would a normal pizza. After adding an even layer of your modeling chocolate cheese, definitely pull out your blowtorch and melt it as much as possible. Concentrate a little with that blowtorch in some areas more than others just to make it look more natural. Next, add your pepperonis. The olives come next, along with whatever other toppings you decided to create, and then a thin layer of cheese over the top of that. Pull out that blowtorch and melt it all together just a little bit more. At this point, I decided to place some cheese on the crust because when you look at a real pizza, there's always cheese melted onto the crust. After you place that cheese, pull out the blowtorch and concentrate on it and melt it really nicely into the crust. And that's how you make a really realistic looking pizza cake. I hope you enjoyed this video, you guys. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.